Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of light and secret knowledge wherever you may be, you are listening to Points of Light Radio, the podcast dedicated to taking you past the apron and behind the closed doors of lodges everywhere. And here is your host, Stan Miller.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Points of Light Radio. This is the organization that's dedicated to taking you past the apron and into the lodge rooms everywhere. I'm doubly excited to bring you this particular segment of Points of Light Radio because we're going to be featuring an organization that I've been trying to feature here for almost a year now, and that organization is the Free Colliers. Just to give you some insight, the Free Colliers is a fraternal society that was founded in Scotland in February of 1863 as a result of some labor unrest in the Scottish coal industry. It was founded by a gentleman named James Simpson. Now, one of the weaknesses of union activity up until 1863 had been the openness of the unions. The employers and mine managers had exploited this openness, and many of the miners claimed they were frightened to speak out at open union meetings for fear of their employers. Now, James Simpson wanted to ensure that the actions of Free Colliers remained secret, so he adopted many of the practices of Freemasonry for their meetings and for their lodges. These practices included bonding members by oaths of loyalty and using coded signs and language to preserve their unity and secrecy. It's actually interesting, very interesting actually, that they would do that. Now, here to shed light on the Free Colliers is James Burns Hogg. He's the past master and secretary of the Free Colliers. Like I said, this is another organization that I've wanted to feature here on Points of Light Radio for almost a year now. So I actually can't wait to get started and bring this organization to you. But let me ask you once again, are you still thirsty for knowledge? Are you still searching for the light? Then just turn your lamp and follow me. Mr. Hogg, welcome to Points of Light Radio.
Glad to be here, Stan.
And you are the past master and secretary of the Free Colliers.
Yep.
Why don't you tell my listeners and viewers a little about yourself, first of all?
Well, my name is James Burns Hogg. I'm a Freemason, and I joined Freemasonry back in 1993. I joined a number of lodges. My claim to fame has been the first master of the Hogfoot Lodge. And I don't know if you've heard about the Hogfoot Lodge. It's the first speculative lodge in the world. Dates back to 1702.
Wow, okay.
And they had nothing to do with masonry. They were all speculative masons, and that's why they claim to be the oldest speculative lodge in the world. And I joined the Royal Arch, obviously, and I got involved with Templars, and I done all the offices in the Templars, and I heard about the Free Colliers, and I looked into it, and I was fascinated because I'm an ex-miner, you see. So I was interested in the Free Colliers, and the more I read and researched the Free Colliers, the more I got involved, and then I joined the Free Colliers because there's still one lodge that exists in Scotland from the founding of the first lodge. But then in Midlothian, me and a lot of my friends, we started our own Free Colliers lodge in Midlothian called the Lord Kinnaird Lodge. It dates back to 1863. But obviously, Free Colliers is older than that, and that was just when they're no longer a secret society, they come in the open. So for 1863, everybody started hearing about the Free Colliers.
Oh, okay. Well, and why don't you then tell my listeners and viewers about the free Colliers? Because you did have a little presentation you wanted to do. So why don't you just run us through this presentation you wanted to do?
Just try to figure out how to get on it. Share screen.
Let's have a look.
Have you got on
Share
share
screen. Yes. Yeah. Let's see. Multiple participants can share screen. Let's have a look here. There you go. I've opened it up. I believe it is.
Go into this now. Share screen.
Can you do that?
I should be able to do it. Share. Well, the free Colliers, see, started in 1863 with the Lord Kinnaird Lodge.
Okay.
And then it was it spread throughout Scotland, and the one where I live in Midlothian, that started in 1864 in Dalkeith, a town called Dalkeith, where all the free Colliers came and they joined, and things started from there. But the free Colliers, I said, was older than that. It goes back, it starts in 1606. That's when all Scottish miners were turned into slaves. They're all slaves. And through the years, through harsh conditions they were working. I know for a fact the free Colliers were recorded in 1720. They weren't allowed to go to church, the free Colliers, the Colliers. They called themselves the Brotherhood of the Colliers. They weren't allowed to go to church, and they weren't allowed to get buried in consecrated ground. So by 1720, the free Colliers had enough of this, so they put a petition in to the local church. It was in the parish of Newton, just outside Dalkeith, demanding their right to go to church, just like anybody else in Scotland. So the Kirk elders got the petition, they read it. It took them 7 years to reply to the petition. So it was 1742 before they replied. They said, oh, you can come to church, but there's certain provisions. One, you're going to have to build your Collier's loft because we don't want you people sitting next to the decent people of the village. You have to build it and pay for it yourselves. But they agreed to all these conditions. And they eventually were able to attend the new church, the church. And 10 years later, Newton decided to build a new church for themselves. And once again, the band, the Colliers, to go to the new church, had to put a second petition in. But once again, that was all sorted out again. And the Colliers were attending church and they were happy with that. Then, come 1799, the law was changed and the miners got their freedom, emancipation. They were all set free. So the miners were quite pleased with that. And the coal busters were happy. They put in what was called the Combination Act of 1800. It prevented all miners, if one or two miners got together and complained about their working conditions, they could be jailed or even sent abroad. Because remember, you had the British Empire, you had all the colonies across the, you sent across there as a slave. America, they were all of them sent to America. But so they had to watch what they said and they had to work in secret because the master found out, the coal master found out what they're up to or anything, they suffered big time. So the miners basically were working in secret, and they relied on Freemasonry to as a way of keeping everything secret with a sign, password, crypts, and all the rest. It was all achieved by the Colliers. So Freemasonry was a big help to the free Colliers, keeping their goings on, their meetings secret. And as I say, it wasn't until 1863 that the miners decided to come out and open, become the free Colliers. That's when they were started in Falkirk. The first one was Sir William Wallace Lodge. 1863. And all followed. They all took off in Scotland. There were 63 lodges by the end of 1865. Wow. Spread Shire, Fife, all over Scotland. And they're all practiced in this Freemasonry. the miners, according to the miners, and it worked. They were getting meetings going ahead, well attended. Then in 1871, it was no longer illegal to be a member of the trade union movement. It was illegal at that time. So the man at the time, Alec MacDonald, who was a leader of the miners from Scotland, he said there was no need for this organisation of free colliers, because it's now no longer illegal to be a trade unionist. So they gradually, all free colliers lodges closed down but the one in Falkirk, the first one, that kept on going. To this day, it still exists. Sir William Wallace Lodge up in Falkirk. So that still exists, that lodge. But the free colliers ones, as I say, they all died off the rest. And I joined the Lord Kinnaird Lodge in Midlothian. I helped start it up in 2015. We started it up, and it's been going since then. It's a fascinating subject, all the brutality that the miners suffered.
Oh, I can believe it.
Oh, it was terrible. And
I did want to ask you about that. Now, this started in Scotland. Did it not spread to the rest of the UK? Because, like, no. I do know Wales had a thriving coal industry as well.
Oh, yes, very
did
big.
They have free collier lodges?
No, this only happened in Scotland.
Okay, yeah, so it's very unique to Scotland. So, and you never, because I do know, like, even other parts of the world, like here in Canada, Nova Scotia, they had a thriving coal industry as well, but you never had any chapters or any lodges in other parts of the world either?
Nope. It started in Scotland in 1863 and spread.
Now, you said you copied Freemasonry.
Yep.
So is there a degree system with the free colliers?
Yes, very similar to Freemasonry. You get first, second, and third degree.
Okay.
Grips, signs, and tokens. All slightly different, but it's all based on Freemasonry.
So what do you call your degrees then? Like first, second, third, or is it like apprentice, like that, master mason?
First one would be the junior degree, then there's a senior degree, then there's the master mason's degree.
Oh, okay, master collier's degree then.
Yep.
Okay. And now, does the free colliers, do they admit women?
They have been moving in their ranks in the past. But when I went up and joined them in 2015, there wasn't any. I don't know why that stopped, but they might take them back and start them again, though. There's nothing against women joining if they want to.
Okay. And now you said that you belong to. It sounds like there's two lodges there now left in Scotland, right?
Sir William Wallace Lodge and the Lord Kinnaird Lodge, yeah.
Okay, and now you belong to. You said both of them.
Yeah, I joined Sir William Wallace Lodge.
Okay,
and then
what's the okay, sorry. Go ahead.
In 2017, I informed them I'd like to start a new lodge down in Midlothian, where I live. And first of all, there were no objections. So I got along with my friends who were joining the Sir William Wallace Lodge, so we get enough members there to join this lodge. Then they changed their mind. They didn't want me to start a free colliers lodge. And I don't know why, but we had a disagreement and fell out. I went my own way, and I got my friends together, and we started up this Lord Kinnaird Lodge, free colliers in Midlothian. And the Sir William Wallace, just one lodge. They said they're unique and they want to keep it that way. Being the last lodge, they would just want to keep it that way. So fair enough. But the whole concept of the free colliers was to spread it throughout Scotland. That was for the start. The first master, James Simpson, he says that this is how we're going to spread the word of free collierism throughout Scotland. And they were actually going against what the free colliers stand for, which I disagreed with anyway. I fell out with them on a disagreement, and I started the Lord Kinnaird Lodge in 2017.
Now, what's the makeup of that lodge now? Because I understand, like you say, there's not much of a coal industry left. So,
There's
is
not
there
any.
is there old men or younger men? What's the makeup of your lodge?
Well, there's members there in the 40s and the 50s and older, but there's no miners, and there's no pits in Scotland anymore. The coal industry's gone. The last pit in Scotland closed in 2002, so there's no more. Basically, it was the guys for Freemasonry that were joining.
Okay.
Everyone was a Freemason.
So where do you meet then? Do you meet in a Freemason lodge, or do you
I
meet?
we met in a 1063 down in Newton Grange. That was a miners' lodge. That was started in 1908. It was founder members were all miners, and
Wow.
it was an ideal place for the free colours to meet.
Wow. Okay. And what do you feel though that membership in like the Free Colliers, has done for you personally? Do you think it's managed to like keep your heritage, or is it part of you view it as part of your heritage, or
Well, as I said, I was a miner, a young man. I worked for many years in the pits, and when I heard about the free colours, I wanted to join the free colours and learn more about them because it to do with mining. That fascinated me. The history of mining, I'm into that. And that was just up kind of exactly what I was looking for. Because my father was a miner. I
okay?
was a miner, and so it was in my blood, mining. I've come from a mining area. It's surrounded with pits, and the history goes way back. And just down the road from me, there's New Battle Abbey. That was the monks of the Cistercian monks. They came to France, they settled in Melrose, and they built Melrose Abbey. Then they sent a contingent down to New Battle Parish, and eventually built New Battle Abbey. The monks at New Battle, they were the first ones that discovered the coal. They were their class is the first miners, the monks of New Battle. So that's how mining in my area got established way back in the 11th century. That's how old it is. It's always been coal. That's where the main employer in the area, right up to the pits all closed.
So it is like, I think you'll agree with me. It is worth preserving that history, and
Oh yes, yes,
and,
yep.
and and keeping the profile of the Free Colliers up, because this is part of, like you say, Scottish history, and I think it is worth keeping.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a fascinating subject. The free colours, what they went through. They were all banned from go to church on a Sunday, and they weren't allowed to get buried in consecrated ground, and that's how they had to start. And they've gradually fought against all that and got their rights, but they all had to suffer before there was the handed them in a plate. They had to fight for everything they never got.
And
The way the miners were getting treated was terrible.
and they learned how to look after each other before the government and the unions stepped in and
Yep,
uh, and looked after people.
that was the free colours. It was well, they called it the Brotherhood of the Colliers before they became free colours. They called
Okay.
themselves free colours after 1863. But prior to that, they were the Brotherhood of the Colliers. You see, they kept everything secret. They had a benefit society. All the monies went to the kind of somebody was ill or somebody had died in the family. All the
Yeah.
money was used for that. So that's how they survived. And it was the history is brilliant in the free colours.
Well, you got to send me some more information on it, because I'd love to learn more about this, and we'll definitely have to have you on here again, Mr. Hogg. And I appreciate your time today.
Yep, I enjoyed it. Thanks very much.
All the best. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye bye.
That was James Burns Hogg, brothers and sisters, shining some light on the Free Colliers. Now, I think you'll agree, we've not only learned a little bit about the Free Colliers, we've also had a look at Scottish history today, and I think that's wonderful. I think that makes this particular segment that much more special. And I'm glad to hear that the Free Colliers are enjoying a bit of a resurgence. Hopefully, we can aid in that resurgence with this segment. I love to, as I've often said with this, the one goal of it is, preserving the history and raising the profile of these organizations, right? And it's also rewarding to finally feature an organization that I've been chasing here for almost a year. And I think it's almost like, when you go hunt the food, you plant the food, it tastes that much better. That's what this feels like, right? And I do want to get this particular segment to air as soon as possible. So that's all I will have time for today, brothers and sisters. But before I go, I want to remind you that this podcast is available on both YouTube and Spreaker. Please share, like, and subscribe when viewing Points of Light Radio on YouTube. I also welcome your comments and input. You can follow Points of Light Radio on my Facebook page at facebook.com/Points of Light Radio. My Twitter handle is at PO Light Radio. And you can see the link to my Spotify channel as well as my Points of Light Radio store. Brothers and sisters, as I always say, it's been a pleasure fellowshipping with you and my guest on this particular podcast. And until we meet again, just step into the light.